this. Amy, can you see me? Are we good? Are we going? I don't know. All right. Shalom Aleichem Ale. And Shalom y'all. Here I am in stormy South Florida in Coral Springs at Casa Yiddishkeit. And we are very excited for the next event, which we are bringing you momentarily. I just want to say before we start that I could not be prouder of the fact that in 2 days, today is our third day of the festival, and in 2 days we have had over 13,000 views of all of our different programs. It's unbelievable, and it's thanks to all of you out there, and thanks to our incredible artists participating in this inaugural, international, virtual Why I Love Yiddish Fest. So as I said, today is our third day, and we have an amazing day planned for you. But we are opening our day today after our cooking class, of course, with the Merlin and Polina Shepherd duo. Merlin and Polina Shepherd. I didn't know these people. They are in Brighton in the United Kingdom, so we are truly international. And I became aware of Polina through Facebook, interestingly enough, and I started following the work they were doing. And I was so very impressed with what they do that I thought it would be a wonderful idea to have them be a part of our festival. And they have prepared an amazing program for you. But let me introduce you a little bit to who they are. Polina Shepherd, who I guess her original name, her maiden name was Skovoroda, was born in Siberia, like my mother. And she grew up in a home where songs were regularly sung at a family table. Now she is an internationally renowned singer. Based on traditional forms, she cuts a sound that is deeply rooted in the East European Jewish and Russian folk style. She grew up in Tatarstan, and that also placed her close to Islamic ornamentation and timbre, which can be heard in her unique vocal style and 4-octave range. Merlin and Polina Shepherd duo travel the world, and they have a reputation as the Led Zeppelin of klezmer. And I'm actually working on a project now called Klez Zeppelin. So Merlin and Polina, we should talk. They play music from several different cultures, and they incorporate improvisation, freedom, and spontaneity with a unique approach and very dynamic. They perform klezmer and Russian music. And as a clarinetist, composer, and bandleader, Merlin Shepherd is a very uniquely innovative force in the klezmer renaissance. Their compositions are focused on East European styles with an influence of classical music and folk elements. And their latest composition are 2 vocal cycles, a commission of Yiddish Summer Weimar, Die Chassene, by Mem Kulbach, and a cycle of erotic Yiddish songs and poems by Troim Katz Handler. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Merlin and Polina Shepherd. Why don't you join us, Chevre? I'm very excited to have you. There they are. Shalom Aleichem. We're still keeping our fingers crossed that our weather will hold up here in Florida and we won't lose you. So tell us very quickly about the project that you are going to show us. I understand it's a film called 5 Brides. What can you tell us about the film, and talk into the mics?
Okay, quickly, we discovered a very good friend of ours used to run a Yiddish folk art program in Ukraine. She's called Yana Yanova, and her husband worked with a wonderful guy called Yuri Morozov. And Yuri found in his office, he works for the Kiev television, he found an archive of Yiddish films made in Ukraine, particularly in the very early days of cinema. And what is spectacular about this collection is the earliest one is made in 1910, and they go all the way up to 1942, and you can see really clearly the amazing and very rapid development of cinematic language in these films. The first one is shot like it's on a stage, like on a proscenium arch with a still camera, and the actors walk on and off. And as things develop, you eventually get panning shots, tracking shots, close-ups, and it's a wonderful archive of early cinema.
Wow. Well, we have been very, very honored to have several films already show during our festival. I couldn't be more happy to have you guys. So please take over. I'm going to go away. You can invite me back when you're done. Have a wonderful screening and a great concert. And thank you again for being
Thank
part of
you.
our festival.
Thanks,
Thank
Abby.
you.
Shane, I'm done.
Thanks.
Thank you. Let's invite
And that's
Avi back.
the film.
Wow, 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 wow.
Avi, hello.
Avi, welcome back.
Yes,
We can't, yeah.
I'm speechless. I mean, I almost don't know what to say. I'd never seen this film, and your music is so complimentary to it and brings it to life. And it's just what a stunning, stunning and shocking and horrible and wonderful story.
It's very difficult. When we first watched it, we found it very difficult to understand who the goodies and the baddies were.
Right.
No, I mean it's very
It's very clear.
It's very very pantomimic, and yet it's incredibly emotional. You know, the characters in this film are just so beautifully crafted and beautifully carved.
And by the way, one character is played by two characters are played by one actor, the old man and the funny man.
What's the correct word?
Disabled, the one that has the disability.
Yeah.
Those two. That's the same actor playing.
Wow, it's amazing. I mean, I was going to say, part of what I find fascinating about the films that were made during those years is, number one, they were not afraid to really tackle serious human issues, whether it's the violence, whether it's the rape and the pillaging and human disabilities and the ugly side. I mean, this film was made in 1930.
29,
Right.
and then it was screened 1930.
We have another film, incidentally, which is this film is also agitprop. It's a very very politicized propaganda film. But we have another one that's a Soviet film that's very very anti-Poland, and there's one scene where the war heroes are gathering for a demonstration, and they're real war heroes from the First World War. Some of them are amputees.
Lots without limbs.
Actual
heroes,
real
yeah.
actors. With
Whole crowd of them.
It's
Amazing.
extraordinary. As you say, they had absolutely no fear in depicting the darkest aspect of human nature.
So tell me, how did you guys come across these films? I mean, where did you suddenly get introduced to this?
We had. I still have a very good friend called Yana Yanova who used to run a Yiddish culture event in Kiev, and her husband worked with the guy who discovered them. He worked for the national television, and he discovered an archive of original acetates in his basement.
But nobody wanted, really.
Nobody
was interested in them.
They were going to be thrown out,
Yeah.
so he transferred them to DVD, and we got copies.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So why this film?
Well, we have several. We have shown other films too, and this is a new addition to our programs. We only showed it once this summer as an experiment, and now for your festival.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
It's an amazing story. We kind of stayed away from it because the last reel of the film hasn't survived. So there is no actual big ending, big kind of the goodies win. We only see this the goodies coming for the women and hopefully saving them, but we don't know what happens. But there is a whole other.
Well, we
5
do know
minutes?
what happens,
Yeah.
because what happens after 1930.
Well, exactly.
We know exactly what happens today.
Yeah.
So how many films have you made now? I mean,
We
how many
have-
films have you scored?
We currently have one program that is 4 shorts. The first one was the earliest. We picked them deliberately because they demonstrate the very rapid development of cinematic language. So the first one in 1910 with this.
L'chaim, it's a known film.
With the static camera filming a proscenium arch, and then gradually, but actually quite quickly, the next one in 1913
Sarah's Grief.
has close-ups and panning shots. And we see these things developing very, very quickly when you had to be inventive. And people were realizing very early on the limitations of cinema. And what could they do? They were some amazing creative minds putting together new ideas and coming up with new things, and budget to do it, which is extraordinary as well.
I mean, I am continuously stunned and shocked and amazed at the breadth, the richness of this particular world that so few people know about. There were thousands and thousands of these films made in Europe, silent films, Yiddish language films, And we're only now really starting to rediscover this. And I don't know why film schools are not teaching. I mean, there should be courses taught about this entire era.
Absolutely.
Tell me about your process. So you saw this film, you decided, what was the process? Did someone say to you, would you be willing to compose the music to this? Would you be willing to score this? Or did you decide you wanted to score it? And then tell me about the process of how that scoring happened.
Well, we had the films in our on DVDs already, so we
have 16 or 17 films altogether.
Yeah, something like that. And we basically took them out and watched them.
1/6 or 6/0?
No, 1/6.
1/6,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I was about to be shocked again. So yeah.
And we watched through the films, and we basically picked the ones that we felt had the most cinematographic interest, acting interest, directorial interest, script interest, the things that were the best films and the most emotional films. Yeah. And this one was, for me, was the pick of the bunch, apart from the fact that it doesn't have the final reel.
Right.
But even so.
So what we usually do, we look into some history. We use, for example, we have a revolutionary film, and we use revolutionary tunes from Russian revolutionary tunes, but not only Russian, also Yiddish songs that have become Yiddish from being translated from Russian revolutionary songs. So we use that material. We compose some material as well that sounds like, say, klezmer music, sounds like a traditional tune to fit the era, to fit the, what's happening on the screen. We obviously improvise a bit. And we try to play appropriate music. So whether it's Soviet tunes, whether it's Russian folk tunes, whether it's Ukrainian tunes, Cossack tunes, klezmer tunes, and our own compositions, we mix it all so it hopefully matches the visuals.
Back in the day, there was a variety of ways in which silent films were accompanied. Some would turn up with a score, and there would be a band that would read the score to follow the film, and some had absolutely no instruction, so people would improvise, and it was usually a piano, or occasionally a piano and a fiddle, violin, but we decided to take it slightly our own way. We don't play them the same way twice. We still allow that area of flexibility. And
well, we have a bunch of tunes that we agree to use, and like vaguely which tune goes with which scene, and then we interlink them between themselves, and we improvise, and things happen. Every time we play, we learn something else from the visuals, and we want to go with, we try to respond to what we see.
One of the things that I was most moved by was when you started singing. When with the vocal, even without words, without lyrics, just that was so powerful. I also definitely heard the Middle Eastern inflections, which I thought were quite stunning. So I know we have a lot of people who are watching on Facebook and on YouTube. So if anyone has a question or a comment, put it in. I'm kind of trying to keep track of all the different platforms while we're talking. So, I'm seeing comments, incredible, powerful characters. So if anybody has a specific question for Merlin and Polina, please put it in the chats, either on the YouTube or on the Facebook, which I'm monitoring. Merlin and Polina, tell me what's next. I mean, I know we're living in the COVID times, so it's everything is up in the air and things happen at the last minute. We were kind of talking about that. But what do you have in store?
We have another film, which it's not from the same archive, but it's called Avram the Hero, obviously with a Yiddish theme.
Right.
It's been remastered and restored to almost to perfection. It's the lines, the color, it's black and white, but the blacks and the whites and the grays are really crystal clear. It's been completely cleaned up digitally, and I think that's our next project, quite likely.
Well, apart from that, we're doing our usual things. We play online gigs and teach online and do whatever we can.
Oh, it's wonderful.
That too.
And compose. Now we have a bit of time to compose our material.
Right.
So that's
I'm getting comments. Please do more of these. So, let me extend my invitation now that we know each other, and now that we've actually met online. I would like to extend my invitation to you. The Yiddishkeit Initiative, Why I Love Jewish, as an organization, is dedicated to finding you and helping people like you all over the world to promote Yiddishkeit and
really
bring it to the
appreciate that.
world. So yeah, let me know what you're doing, and if we can offer you a venue and a way to promote your work, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful. I really am.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful. Let me just see if there are any more questions. Nothing on the YouTube.
I see just
But
comments on Facebook as well.
yeah, lots of comments on
Yeah.
Facebook. Comments.
Oh,
So
there is an interesting one. I can think of at least 5 different endings from realistic to fantasy. Would you be interested in doing something like that?
oh wow, look at that.
Wait. Before, let me just say that when we initially got this archive, I said to Polina, I want to do a traveling workshop with actors, and I want us to perform the film, and then we devise a new ending with each group. So
Wow.
each group
For
of
this
actors,
particular
for this
film,
particular
yeah.
film,
Right,
each
right,
group
right.
of
Happens,
actors,
yeah.
each group of actors will come up with their own ideas about how it works, and we'll accompany silent acting.
Right.
That was
We
the
have
idea.
a question. Is there a record? Does anybody know what the original ending was?
No.
We couldn't find
No.
out.
Couldn't find
I
it.
think it
Totally
didn't
no.
survive. I think it didn't survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Carol, the woman who made that comment, I'd like to take you guys up on that. I love the idea of creating some kind of a contest for independent filmmakers to finish the film.
But
And different ideas.
but Ari, I want it to be Avi. Sorry, I want it to be with live actors
Right, right. No, I love that idea.
rather than on
Well,
film.
that's another thing somebody can do. It's great to have so much creativity after, playing our film.
So I suddenly
Yeah.
want the medium to change, where we're playing for a screened film, and
Right.
suddenly the films, it says end of film, and live actors come on and
I
finish
love the idea. I would love to discuss it further as we
Let's be in touch.
understand what we're offering. Again, in COVID times, it's hard to plan anything live anymore. So everything kind of has to go into the virtual world for now. But I'm sure there will come a time. Yeah, actors and musicians creating together, such a great idea. Somebody asked, were there reviews of the film at the time in 1930?
You know what? There must have been, but I don't know of this. I know there is a modern review of this film online from 2015.
I
But
think that's
yeah,
a
but
great,
yeah.
that would be a great research project to see if maybe in the original reviews from 1930. The only problem
What is really interesting about this particular film is that there still exist several acetate copies of this film, and none of them have the final reel. So it could have been that they were censored, that the film was made, although it's agitprop and the communist government had these films made. They still could have said, we can't actually have that ending. So they could have just cut it off and left it to the imagination of the
We
audience.
actually do have a review from 1913 about one of the films we play for, Sarah's Grief, I think. It uses that, very emotional language. It's not the language you would hear from critics nowadays. It's amazing. It's actually on our website. We have a website, Sound and Light Cinematic Duo. That's what we call ourselves when we accompany these films. The Sound and Light Cinematic Duo.
Sound and Light Cinematic
Duo.
Dot
And
com.
there is, it's wordpress.com. People can find it. They can find it through my website, which is polinashepherd.com, and if they go to silent films, it's all there.
Well,
But,
why don't we post it in the post of the film that you did?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Find you.
Thank you.
We have to bring this to a close. I wish we could go on for hours, but I have to now prepare for a 2:00 concert.
Good
with
luck.
Josh Dolgan in Toronto.
We may watch. We may
Yeah. So that's going to be lots of fun because I love Josh.
That's true.
So again, I want to thank you both for joining us and being part of our festival. I'm really, really honored. And this film stunned me. I'm not often speechless. But when it ended, I was literally, I was disturbed by it, and that's good. That's a really good disturbance. So let's stay in
Thank
touch.
you.
I thank you again for joining us from Brighton in the United Kingdom.
Great pleasure. Thank you.
Merlin and Polina Shepherd, thank you for the Five
Okay.
Brides and that beautiful, beautiful score. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
you soon. Good. And I will stay with the audience because I still have some things to tell them. So we will see you soon. Thanks again.
Okay.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw, was this
What do you think?
beautiful rendition of The Five Brides, a film from 1930, scored by Merlin and Polina Shepherd. And again, this is part of our efforts to bring free, high quality work in Jewish culture. And so we couldn't do it without our sponsors. I want to just thank our sponsors once again, especially the Betsy Hotel and the University of Miami and Gallery 22 and all the Restream, which is allowing us to bring this on all of the different platforms, the Chenstochovel Society. These are all wonderful organizations. We hope you'll support them all. Also, please, because we have also received funding from Miami-Dade County, we have a survey. So go to our website, look it up in the posts. We've been posting them during the events. Take our survey, join our mailing list, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube. If you subscribe to us on YouTube, we can bring you more and more stuff and you'll find out about it. And of course, last but not least, we are bringing you this entire festival for free. And so our sponsors have helped to offset the cost, but it doesn't cover the entire cost of the festival. So if you can go to our whyilovejewish.org/donate and support in any amount, anything you feel comfortable with, whether it's $1 or 10 or 100 or 18 or 36 or 180 or 18,000, whatever you feel comfortable with. If there's anyone out there that would like to contact me directly, please, avi@whyilovejewish.org. If you would like to become a more serious sponsor, either for the organization in general or for the festival, let me know. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with this wonderful thank you to our sponsors.
My name is Chaim Shaked. I'm a professor at the University of Miami, and I'm the director of the George Feldenkrais program in Judaic Studies, and I'm the founding director of the Sue and Leonard Miller Center for Contemporary Judaic Studies, which is a university-wide center at the University of Miami. If we look today at the Jewish world, the Jewish communities in most countries still have segments which adhere to the old definition of who is a Jew, but much larger segments today consider themselves Jewish because they're part of a tradition, part of a culture. One such important element has become known more recently as Jewish peoplehood, a subject which is of great interest to me personally and to the programs which I am developing. Jewish peoplehood includes, for instance, a very important component of the Yiddishkeit initiative. And that's why when I heard of this idea, right away, I outstretched my hand